The Switch absolutely smashed it in its first year, nobody can doubt that. With first party titles, third party titles, and of course the eShop, it's been a fantastic first year for the Nintendo Switch. Now obviously some games have gotten more plaudits than others. Rocket League, Stardew Valley, Sonic Mania have all been applauded by everybody. But I feel there are a few games that I think deserve just as much credit as those. So I want to highlight some rather, shall we say, hidden gems of the eShop that was released in 2017. Let's get on with it. Let's begin with Wolverblade, a complete passion project that just bleeds with enthusiasm. If you saw my review, then you'll know that I enjoyed it very much, aside from a couple of issues that stopped it being perfect. This historical beat 'em up pits the native Britons against the invading Roman forces. Choosing one of 3 characters, you hack and slash your way through a handful of brutally difficult stages with violence and historical education in equal measure. Yes, although liberties are taken of course, the game's designer wanted to be as historically accurate as possible, and you can learn tons of information about the era as bonus pickups. The action is great and it feels satisfying to mow down the Romans and their allies. The stages climax with a tough boss battle, and I think the game is fairly criticised in this department as it's very unforgiving. Each stage only has 1 checkpoint, which is halfway through the stage. The stages are long too. Dying at a boss will send you halfway back. It's harsh. Thankfully they're working on a patch to tweak some of these things and the complaints, so it won't be long until the game is made a little fairer and the difficulty is balanced somewhat. I think that when the patch comes out, Wolverblade will be a fantastic game for just about anybody. If you followed my videos, you'll probably be already very sick of me talking about Astro DOOL Deluxe. You need to take a chance on it though. This is such an excellent little competitive multiplayer game from Panic Button, the same company that ported Doom and Rocket League. They got a lot of love for those ports, and I think they deserve a bit of love for this pocket of fun. Having friends over to play this Asteroid style competitive shooter is always a ton of fun and is highly recommended. There are plenty of options to play if you want to do the one-shot death or hilarious 2-shot death where your pilot flees for his life after the ship is destroyed. There are power-ups, but I much prefer the old school normal shots only. You can play with up to 6 people, and it's honestly my favourite couch multiplayer game on the Nintendo Switch. For the third entry, we're going to tone it down a little to something a bit more on the steady side. I'm not going to completely oversell Puzzle Adventure Blockle, since it's a very modest puzzle game that doesn't do anything too phenomenal. It's cute though, and definitely deserves another look. It's a very simple concept whereby you rotate the stages in order to guide Kulu to the door. You need to collect keys and gems which, although not necessary, give you a better rating for a stage. You're given 3 tasks to do in order to get the full 3 stars, which can make things tricky and provide a solid challenge. The biggest surprise is that they really try to implement a story in this game, hence the adventure part of the title. It's somewhat charming too, with plenty of dialogue which can border on excessive at times. It's a cheap game that I feel has a decent length to it, as you'll have to probably try the stages multiple times in order to get 3 stars. It's just a very solid, cute game, definitely worth a look.
Arriving in 3, 2, 1.
Now back to a game that I've talked about at various points, mainly because I've reviewed it twice already, once on the Wii U, then again on the Nintendo Switch when it was released not so long ago. Star Ghost. This minimalistic shooter is probably overlooked for the fact it kind of plays how you would expect a mobile horizontal shooter to play. With the Donkey Kong rocket barrel level style controls, the more you hold the button, the more you fly up to the ceiling. Take your finger off and you'll drop down to the floor. It's a balancing act and I really like it since it constantly keeps you on your toes, even during quieter moments. This game is so difficult, for me at least. It's one death and game over, unless you can scramble enough orbs together to buy an extra life. That's the only thing that I don't like about it, since otherwise it's a great unique shoot 'em up. It looks lovely and sounds great thanks to David Wise's contributions to the soundtrack. I feel this game may be the most divisive hidden gem on this list, as I feel many will find it too simplistic, too random, too difficult, but there's just something so cathartic about playing this. I can just sit down, stick this game on and somehow take my mind off the rest of the world. It has a very hypnotic effect on me weirdly, considering it's so difficult. You'd think I'd be constantly on edge, but no, I can relax and enjoy this game at any time. Okay, let's end on a very big high note. Battle Chef Brigade. This is a wonderful game that definitely deserves more attention. It seemed to come and go without too much fanfare, even if it was very well received by critics. There just wasn't a lot of talk about it. Really sad, since I found it to be a lovely game that completely charmed me. It's a mashup of an action game and a match 3 puzzler cooking game. It's as weird as it sounds, but it works surprisingly well as they're so interconnected and integral to the gameplay that the transition is seamless. 1 second you're fighting, next you're matching them up. Both parts of the gameplay are probably a little on the simple side, mechanics wise, but they blend together so well to form something very enjoyable. It's great concocting different dishes using random animal and plant parts. Just watching your meals develop as you add more stuff to it and then mix it together is great. I just really enjoyed it. The gameplay is great, but I really love the characters and artwork just as much. They gave so much life and personality to the game that I was wholly entranced by it. It felt like playing a Studio Ghibli game, like Howl's Moving Castle or something silly like that. Obviously I may be a little overselling it and maybe others won't be as smitten with the story and the people involved as I was, but I hope you can be. There is some top-notch voice acting and overall fantastic presentation for the price. And those are just some games released in 2017 that I feel deserve a little bit more attention. Now I'm not saying that they're the best games ever, but they're solid titles that are well worth a look at. What do you guys think? Are there any hidden gems that I missed in this video? Obviously I haven't reviewed all of the games, so I'm sure there's plenty of games that I have missed. Let me know in the comments below because, you know, I like to find hidden gems too. Take care guys, see you later.